Hello everyone, welcome back to Tree of Life Tarot. So this is going to be a message for whoever needs it. And I felt called to come on. There's this feeling of, it's a little bit sad, and it just feels like someone needs some hope. Like the feeling is of a bubble having burst. And just a little bit of a sadness and loss of vision. And with it, a loss of animating energy. And a need to rekindle hope. Now, that's just what I'm feeling. We'll see what the cards have to say. But if that resonates with you, perhaps this is for you. Let's just go ahead and get into it and see. We're going to do my 255 reading. So 2 cards, please, for the main message. This is also, I'm using the Magical Hours Tarot, which is one of my, new decks. Well, 2 of them just popped right out there. Okay, well, there's our bit of sadness. So bottom of the deck here is the Hanged Man. So there's that finding a new perspective, a pause or delay in the action. Perhaps your bubble has burst. And that is forcing a little bit of reflection here and a need to see things from a different perspective. Now, 5 of Swords here with the 8 of Cups. 8 of Cups is walking away from something that is no longer serving, something that is no longer satisfying, that may be draining the energy. And what we're walking away from here, 5 of Swords, is a sense of patterns, of kind of ingrained patterns that certainly no longer serve. 5 of Swords is not the best card here. You see in this depiction, our figure in the foreground, our woman here, is collecting all of these swords. And look at the door on this side, there's someone walking away. It's like it was kind of taking all the gain for herself, leaving someone else kind of to drift away with nothing else. And then Eight of Cups here. So moving on from this behavior, this pattern, it doesn't have to be behavior, it's a pattern that keeps you in separation and in self-protection, that would cause isolation, disconnection, harm to relationships. And we'll get more into the story in a moment. But this 8 of Cups here, and it's the way these cards are depicted, this 5 of Swords almost appears more like the 8 of Cups in traditional Rider-Waite. You have a figure here with their back turned to the audience, walking away from something that is not fulfilling, that is not helpful or nourishing anymore. And perhaps that character, I'm not going to say this is you and this is someone else. Both of these are you. In this, how this is coming through here. This is both yourself that does this pattern, that, has been party to this pattern. And this is yourself wanting to walk away from it. There's a sense of like self-sabotage or self-betrayal because of the pattern, and a desire to be free from it. And then of course, this might as well be the same character coming here to the 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups is actually walking away, but I love this depiction here. If you notice, there are pots of flowers acting sort of like a hot air balloon, drawing her up above the city. And we have the Hanged Man at the bottom of the deck, a new perspective. She's being lifted out of the mire of the 5 of Swords. to get a higher perspective of seeing the whole city, the bigger picture, the way things are all connected, the life that's buzzing all around her. So this is getting a new view. Hangman at the bottom. Okay, let's get the story. 5 cards, please. Something very specific wants to come. Whoa, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7 of Pentacles, Page of Swords, 5 of Pentacles, okay. 5 of Cups, 3 5s so far. So the good news is 5s are change. The bad news is 5s are tough. Okay, 2 cards just came out. I'm going to take them together. And that's the 10 of Wands and the 8 of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Queen of Wands. So that's positive. That's finding your fire again. That's, you know, notice the sunflowers in her hair. Are they sunflowers? They might as well be. And the black cat, you know, really she is creative, she is dynamic, she is passionate. She creates and brings warmth wherever she goes. So that's what's beneath the surface here and what we're moving towards. Now, let me just take a moment here. There is a wondering, you know, like I was saying with this card in the 5 of Pentacles, this is the center line here. 5 of Pentacles came out beneath the 5 of Swords. 5 of Pentacles speaks to feeling left out in the cold, feeling without resources and stuck, and our 2 characters here are standing on that rock in the middle. They can't move. They feel like they're just completely isolated and clinging on with, you know, a little bit of a helpless energy there. And there is a wondering here with the 7 of Pentacles. How long is this going to last? How long is this going to last? The Page of Swords is kind of wondering and inquiring, and I want to say also here examining. And I sort of get this with like I mentioned like feeling like a bubble had burst at the beginning. There's something that you feel like you've invested a lot into and put a lot of energy into and maybe held out for a long time, you know. I wanted to say head in the clouds, but the good news is her head is above the clouds. That's intentional and that's important. But wondering how long it's going to take, and it's almost like, I kind of want to say like, careful about opening the oven door too soon, you know, or else the cake will collapse, that kind of energy. Because the Page of Swords kind of wants to poke around. It's got some new ideas. It's kind of ready to tinker, ready to, you know, look at some things. It's also a little bit impatient. It is upright, so it's not impulsive, just a little bit impatient. I'm not getting that the Page of Swords is communication here. It can be depending on the other cards, but these cards are not speaking to that unless it clarifies as such. This is almost the temptation towards the 5 of Swords, feeling like it's not going to come in. And so the mind is starting you know, to do its work. It's starting to pick things apart. It's starting to overthink. It's starting to replay. Five of Cups here, of course, is that card of loss. It's that card of grief. It's, you know, there are 3 cups spilled behind her, but there are still 2 blooming here. And I get the sense, 10 of Wands, that this has been a long journey. You have been working at this for a while. 7 of Pentacles, 8 of Pentacles here. There is a sense of being tired and of having lost the magic. Again, I'm coming back to that bubble burst. There's a sense of having lost the magic. The mind is stepping in not a helpful way here. And so the whole thing is feeling burdensome, and like this journey will never end. And the grief will never end, and the isolation will never end. How long, 7 of Pentacles, is this going to take? There's a need to find the magic again. Now these 2 cards came out together. So we have, and these are sort of like, both of these talk about a long journey with a lot of work. Carrying the wands. The 8 of Pentacles is repetition. It's mastering something new. 8 of Pentacles has come up in almost every reading I've done lately. There's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of repetitive motion. There's a lot of learning it, doing it, carrying it, even when you can't. But the difference between these 2 cards is joy in the repetition versus feeling like you're carrying a burden. Look at her, the flames by her legs. It's like walking so long you feel like your legs are on fire. And I think that's why our Queen of Wands is coming out here at the bottom. And notice she's got her black cat with her. Magic. She is in touch with that magic again. And notice the outlines of everything behind her, like her throne. It exists, but it also is, it's like as she thinks it, so it becomes. With her, you know, magic wand here. She's got the magic. She's in tune with the magic. And what everything else here is kind of showing is there's been a loss of the magic here. There's a loss of the sense of magic. You know, it's funny. In these 2 cards, these are 2 of the saddest cards in the deck. 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Cups. Look at the hair on each of these characters. There are pentacles here present. There are emotions. Adventure, there's a sailboat there, a star present, but they're behind them. They're not seeing them because their eyes are looking at what's been lost or what they're afraid of. But, and in the hair, you know, remember the hair. Hair is got magical properties. Hair is tied to the nervous system. And our nervous system is also where we are tuned into our senses and tuned into the magic and the energy around us. So there's this need to find that again. Use your sword to observe magic and try to find the magic in the process. Both of these cards are cards of process. Okay. There's something else with the 5 of Swords here. You know, I just heard there are many ways up the mountain. There is a mountain in the back of the card here. And notice is that the moon? It is the moon, but it's a moon. It's a guiding light above it. Top of the mountain is where we get that wisdom. It's that place of achievement. But this is the wrong kind of striving. Now, 8 of Cups, you can use magic and emotion to lift you there instead of collecting swords and wands and struggling to get there. Okay, let's clarify. Whoa. Okay. this deck is called the Magical Hours Tarot. It's really gorgeous. And it definitely feels like a magical deck. There's a lot of magic in it. There's a lot of reminders to dream. Speaking of reminders to dream, last card out is the Fool. Bottom of the deck, Page of Wands. So this is a step down from the Queen, but we'll see what the clarifying cards are. You know, she's learning to find that again. She's learning to find, she will become the Queen. But, you know, it's that beginning to find the passion again. Okay. Oof. 9 of Swords. What was I saying? Wondering how long it's going to take. Make sure you can see these cards. Okay. Now, we've got a lot of pages here. We've got 3 pages out so far. I just did a weekly reading about the need to find beginner's mind again. That reading might help you if you need a little bit more on this. Because pages are, you know, they're small steps. They're the initiatory energies that are going to grow through the court cards. They are innocent, they are dreamy, and they're powerful in their own right, you know. But they're initiatory. Look at that. We have all the 5s out. We have all the 5s out. And I was picking up that sadness at the beginning. 5 of Swords, 5 of Pentacles. Now we have 5 of Wands at the bottom here. Competing energies, and again, look at this. 5 of Swords, character, you know, with their back turned, walking away. 5 of Wands, all these characters have their backs to each other. Everybody's standing in their truth and no one's speaking to each other. There's separation because of the competing, unstable energies. Okay. Well, that's lovely. 9 of Pentacles. Okay. I want to start with this right here. 5 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles. Nobody likes this message, but it's an important message, and the sooner you learn it, the better it all gets. Sometimes our external losses, our heartbreaks, teach us how to stand in our own happiness, our own fulfillment, to find it for ourselves, because that's the only way we can share it with another. Again, 5 of Wands, this separation, this not speaking to each other, this inability to get on the same page. 9 of Pentacles is that self-satisfaction. It's pre-Empress energy. She's surrounded by her own abundance. Like everything in this card, it's all an outgrowth of her. It's all part of her world. And now she has what she needs, her own resources for herself, and she has something to give. Unlike 5 of Swords, this kind of hoarding behavior up here. 9 of Pentacles is a beautiful place to be. And it is understanding your own worth. And as I said, and I'm going to say it again, both having the resources and knowing what your resources are. It's not just having them, it's knowing them. You can be surrounded by stuff, but you don't know it's valuable. And I don't just mean material things. I'm talking about like your gifts, your talents, the way you relate. All of the things that are unique to you, that resource you, and create a world around you that is made out of you. Then you can invite others in. Then you can share and have something to give. But you've got to, it's like fill your own cup first. And this loss, this 5 of Cups loss, is bringing you into 9 of Pentacles, into understanding your own strength, your own value, how resourceful you actually are, how secure you actually are, because, you know, true security starts within. feeling secure with yourself, feeling secure with your relationship to the world and to the divine, knowing where resources come from, which, spoiler alert, is the divine. It's what the Five of Cups often forces us into, include also the Five of Pentacles as well, really all the fives. And it's healing card. It's such a good healing card. Look at her with her, hawk or eagle or whatever that is, reconnecting with nature. Okay. Now, this is just confirming what I was saying over here, that how long is it going to take? Nine of Swords beneath it, the Nightmare card. The stuck in the mind, the replaying it, the overanalyzing, the just being dogged by negative thoughts. And, Nine of Swords, it's like, it's an energy that arrives when there's been a lot of stagnation, when the mind is not usefully employed, and therefore it starts to create problems, see demons everywhere. Page of Swords, Page of Cups. Now, I spoke about with this Page of Swords earlier, the sense of like, you don't want to open the oven too early. Perhaps, look at this Page of Cups here. You maybe don't want to look beneath the surface too soon because, look at what's going on. Not that that's negative. This is a very positive card. But this is kind of like the balancing out of this Page of Swords energy that wants to kind of probe and, manage the situation or try to get control again with the mind. She's just chilling on her fish, enjoying her tea, trusting the unconscious, what is beneath the surface, trusting that to carry her. Trusting it. There's no fight going on here. This is the energy to be in. Trusting the unconscious. Being in a state of emotional innocence. Not self-protection and being jaded, but emotional openness. And that is to overcome our middle, the spine of our reading here, all these fives. And this is telling me, this is kind of the pattern. This is the energy being sat in. This is the effect. Five of Pentacles. Everyone going their separate ways. Not coming together. So, Nine of Pentacles, I just spoke at length about that, finding your worth, finding your resources so that you have a place to engage from. And then we have the Fool here. This is the beginning of the journey. The magic of, taking a leap of faith, this has some echoes of the weekly reading, I'll say that again. But I talked about beginner's mind a bit there. And it's like I'm hearing getting a do-over. Getting to do this from a different energy. Getting to try again. Having cleared the slate. Now getting to begin a new cycle from a different place. With this new perspective, our sort of secondary row here, Eight of Cups, walking away from what was, and as I talked about here, getting that higher perspective, overcoming this feeling of loss and grief and not having, moving into Nine of Pentacles, which is definitely having a lot, knowing your worth and resources. I'm being redundant now, I think. And that initiates and moves you into this new cycle where you get to rediscovery is what I'm hearing here. Page of Wands on the bottom. I already mentioned this, but she's looking out at the horizon. And look at our Eight of Pentacles here, rediscovering the magic. What she paints is coming to life. And remember, I said that with our Queen of Wands. Go back and watch the whole thing if you need to. The Queen of Wands had the outlines of her throne behind her as she thought it. She created it through her own magic. So this is the magical new cycle. I'm wondering, I'm going to pull an oracle card for you. I think that would be a nice way to end this and just have, I mean, there's certainly guidance here, but you know, what is something you can focus on to help move through this? Okay, one card, please. This is my, it's called the Witching Hour Oracle. And I love this deck very much. Solitary Witch. It says, heal yourself first. And isn't that what we've been talking about here? Heal yourself first. Let me see if there's a message from the book here that would be useful. Pulling Solitary Witch is a sign that you have overlooked yourself. You may need to spend more time in solitude, treat yourself to a rare experience, or spend more time developing your gifts before sharing them with others. What was I just saying here at the end? You start a new cycle once the Nine of Cups has been realized. Pulling this card can also signify that your healing work starts within. You may need to work on healing your ancestral lines, or you're being called to develop a better relationship with your spirit guides. Also important. That's how you find that magic again. Okay. So, heal yourself first. Rediscover your magic. And it is so important, as we've seen, that you come into alignment and find that magic and those resources within, because what you think, your inner state, is creating your outer reality. And a new perspective is needed here. And that new perspective is found by healing yourself first. Whoever else is involved, if you, I'm not saying let them go, like, you know, let them, not that they need to leave your life or ending relationships or friendships. Just don't put the energy and the focus there. Put it on yourself. Because as you heal and align your inner world, it will shift your outer relationships and your outer world to align with the positive new energy within. Heal yourself first. It will have a ripple effect into all other circumstances in your life, all other relationships in your life, all others involved. And, you know, I do sense whatever this is for you, this has been a period of some solitude and some loss. And as I said, nobody wants to hear this. It's a lesson we all want to think we can bypass, but Five of Cups forces us into the Nine of Pentacles. As I was saying, this is a healing card as well. So, I was picking up that sadness at the beginning, and that may be the loneliness and the feeling of separateness that you are experiencing while moving through this initiation. But remember, it is an initiation. It is going to begin a new cycle, guided by magic. So, I honor your despair, and also say, do not despair. There is magic still. Okay. I'm going to leave that there. I hope that served, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.